Hi friends, can you smell it? The scent of fall is in the air. The smell of dry leaves and corn dust put me in the mood for fresh apple cider and hot pumpkin donuts. Our olfactory sense is one that we don't think consciously about very often, but it's an important one nonetheless. It can alert us to danger, it heightens the pleasure of taste, and it can trigger memories powerfully. For example, the smell of burnt popcorn reminds me of my college dorm. The scent of wind song brings my mom to mind. The smell of a bonfire reminds me of summer camp. Oh, and here's a funny one. The smell of a skunk brings my grandma to mind. One time, my mom and dad and grandparents and sister, there was only one sister at the time, were all in the car together, and we drove by a skunk that had been killed alongside the road. And my grandma says, "I smell peppermint." And we all thought it was the funniest thing ever, and it kind of became a running joke. So to this day, whenever I smell a skunk, the first thing that comes to my mind is my grandma, and I smell peppermint. Thinking about the aroma of fall and the things that we smell brought to mind the passage from the Bible that talks about the fragrance of Christ. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 14 to 16. And it says, "But thanks be to God, who in Christ always leads us in triumphal procession, and through us spreads in every place the fragrance that comes from knowing him. For we are the aroma of Christ to God, among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. To the one, a fragrance from death to death, to the other, a fragrance from life to life." The writer is comparing living and sharing the gospel of Jesus to a triumphant Roman military parade, which were common at that time. During these parades, big laurel wreaths of flowers would be carried through the streets, and incense would be burned throughout the city. And those scents would waft into the air so that spectators and people in the procession would breathe in the fragrance. In addition, prisoners of war were paraded through the streets. And as you might imagine, the end of the parade for them was also the end of their freedom and maybe even their lives. So for one group, those scents were joyful and triumphant and life-giving. And for the other group, those scents meant slavery or death. When it comes to living a life that shares the gospel of Christ in attitude, word, or deed, our witness is an aroma that spreads in every place. It reaches friend and foe, family and stranger, Christian and non-Christian, those who are open and receptive, and those who are closed and hostile. For those fellow followers of Jesus, we hope that the aroma of our witness triggers a desire to know and follow Jesus more. For those who do not follow Jesus, the aroma of Christ may be offensive or off-putting, but we hope that it triggers in them an awareness of their slavery to sin and death and their need for Jesus. Our job is not to judge or discriminate. Our job is to diffuse the aroma of Christ in every place and to every person, so that our families, our communities, and our world will be filled with the sweet smell of love, forgiveness, and peace. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again tomorrow.